Let's take what we learned on the back leg and apply it to the forearm. Go to the Setup tab. We're going to add a null called IKHandRight. Click on the plus button to add that. We'll drag it to the bottom of the list. Let's move this null and rotate it until it's oriented exactly like the hand. Switch to a top view. Use the A key to target our selection. Rotate it on heading. Now just pick any bone in the hierarchy, add another bone with the plus key, and parent it to IK hand. Zero out to Z translate, so it's right at the origin. We'll pitch this one over until it matches up right at the base of the wrist. And call this bone Control Wrist R for right. Go to the Bone tab and set the slip to 1 so it doesn't distort the mesh. Add another small bone to the end of that, just like on the back leg. Shrink it down. We'll call this bone IK Wrist. Set the slip on that one to 1 so it doesn't distort the mesh. Now click to the Commands tab. We're going to add the expressions to control the IK. Let's go to the bottom of the expressions list by clicking on the last one. Click to the Variable tab and add a new variable. We'll call this variable dog underscore IK align wrist R. Go to the expressions block and search for the expression called IK2D in the pull-down menu. We'll build this expression starting with the bicep because the shoulder will be an animator control. So highlight the shoulder, add that to the first argument, that will be the base. Highlight the wrist, that will be the end. And then middle mouse click and highlight IK wrist, which will be our end effector. One to align it, one to turn it on, and right mouse click next to the pull down menu to add it to the expression. You can see that we had some trouble with the IK solving in the wrong direction. Let's highlight the forearm. Go to the Animate tab, and under the Inverse Kinematics tab, change the direction to negative so it moves properly as we move it around. We should also set the stiffness on forearm 2 to 1 so it doesn't calculate IK. Now that's the first IK chain. As we move around, you can see that the paw is not aligning properly. We'll do the second IK chain from the paw to the foot. Let's go back to the Commands tab. Go to the Variable sub-tab. We'll create a new variable and call this one dog underscore IK align hand R. Go to the expression. We still have our IK2D expression pulled up here. We'll middle mouse click on wrist R, which is the root, and finger R, which is the end. And middle mouse click and highlight IK hand R, which will be our end effector. One to turn it on, one to align it, right mouse click to add that to the expression. You can have single bone IK chains. That just means it acts like it's aiming instead. You can see our wrist moves quite nicely here. Grab the control wrist and pitch it back and forth to change the relationship between the bicep and the wrist joint. One last expression. Go to the Variables tab, create a new variable. We'll call this one dog underscore align hand R. Go to the expressions and we'll find one in the pull down menu here called align up at the top. And we'll highlight the first one. Finger R will align itself to IK hand R. One in the last field to turn it on. Right mouse click to add that to the expressions. So when we move it around, the foot stays exactly the same, and we can use the controls to pitch it up and down. You can go to the Setup tab, and under the Rest block, we'll hide everything except pitch on Control Wrist. Now we have our front arm set up. So let's head up to the top here, and under our arm R, we'll just highlight bicep R, multi-select down to finger R. We'll change all of their draw modes to N, and right mouse click to lock them all, and close down shoulder. So now all we can see are the nulls and the two bones. We won't need to use this IK wrist bone since it's a single chain over here. We're not controlling any fourth joint. So we can also red lock that and change its draw mode to N. So all we have left now are the controls for the feet. Go to File. We're going to save this scene as DogSetupF.